In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a clay gummy bear. Now this gummy bear has been fired, which means it has gone in the kiln, so it's called bisqueware now. We're going to start out by using a block of clay, and we want to start out by breaking it into the basic forms of a gummy bear. So what you want to do is, rather than pulling it apart or pinching it apart, you want to start out by gently just sort of twisting it apart. So you're going to have kind of a small piece that will be used for the head. Twist it again. This will be a coil for the arms and legs. All right. And then we can pinch a little bit off of this for the ears. So we want to take this piece and begin by kind of gently pressing it into sort of a rectangular prism or kind of a skinny box shape. Then we're gonna roll it into a cylinder, okay? So when we think about our gummy bear, we wanna think about it in terms of geometric forms, okay? Form is like the art word for a 3D shape. So here's the body. Now we wanna take this, pinch a teeny bit off, so I have my ears, and then roll this into a sphere, okay? Now I'm rolling in my hands. Some people like to roll like this on the table, whatever works best for you. Okay, so put that aside. Now I have this, I'm gonna roll a coil, so kind of start out that way. Put these aside for 1 second. And a coil is basically like a snake shape, okay? So once it's kind of a little bit thinner, you can break it in half. Do one more time. And one more time. So this is going to be our arms and our legs. So once you have them both about the same size, you can cut it in half again. Now there's all different kinds of tools in the Clay Center. This one is sort of like a wooden knife. So you use that to cut that in half. So now we have the torso, arms, legs, head. Okay, now we have a little extra here. What we're going to do for this is we're going to roll a little ball for the muzzle. Okay, that's like the nose part. And I just realized that was a little big, so I'm going to pinch a tiny bit off. So if you go to put it on and you're like, it's not the right size, you can always pinch a little bit off. And then my other extra piece, I'm going to roll 2 coils to make my ears, okay? So it's going to be, so if you see, so they're going to be long because when we look at it from the side, the gummy bear actually it goes all the way back to the side. So we're not making a teddy bear, we're trying to make it really like a gummy bear. Now that I have my basic forms like this, I want to start to attach them. So I'm going to go through a couple important vocabulary words here for using ceramics. If you don't do this, your project is going to fall apart. So please do this. So first things first, we're going to attach the head to the torso. Now you have to do something called scoring. You can do this with any scratchy tool. You can do it with this little forky tool. You can do it with an actual fork. You can do it with the scratchy tip of a pencil, but anything that would allow you to rough up the surface. So dip it in some water or slip, which is basically like muddy clay water, and really scratch the surface. If you try to put 2 pieces of clay together without slipping and scoring them like this, when it dries, it's gonna fall apart. So it's different than when you use like Play-Doh or Model Magic. If you don't slip and score ceramic clay, it falls apart. So once you have that, you get a little water or slip on there. It works kind of like clay glue, and then give it a good press. Now, once that's on there like this, you're gonna take a blunt tool, so blunt means rounded, and blend the back of the bear's head onto the torso, okay? We can kind of smooth that out a little bit with your finger. Okay, so now that's blended together, but we could still kind of see the difference between the head and the torso there. If you wanted to blend it a little more in the front to make it look a little nicer, you can do that. You can also squeeze around here, pinch the neck in a little, okay? So now we're gonna attach his arms and legs. So again, slip and score every piece, okay? Now there's a good way to remember this. It's a little silly. One of my students, while he's doing this, likes to say, slip and score, baby, slip and score. So it's a little dorky, but it's a really good way to help you remember to slip and score. So I've scored the sides where I'm adding it. Now I'm going to put a little slip on there. Okay, then I'm going to press that on. Okay, now with a gummy bear, the arms and legs don't stick out too far past the actual gummy, okay? So I'm gonna press that on. Now once I press it on, so every time you press, you slip, score, and blend, okay? If you don't blend, it will fall off, okay? So always slip, score, and blend. Get these on. Okay, slip and score, baby. Slip and score. Okay, now I have my arms and legs attached. I have everything blended on there. Now I'm gonna slip and score the muzzle. So take the little ball, put it on here. Okay, now if you ever overscore, like you go outside of the area where it's gonna attach, you can just blend it back on. So just blend it in. So I need to blend this to make sure it doesn't fall off. Okay, so I've really made this using some really basic forms. Spheres, which is like a ball shape, a sphere. Cylinders, that's really it, right? Okay, got the muzzle on. Now I'm just gonna attach my ears. Some slipping and scoring here. Sometimes I like to tap into it for smaller things instead of scratching left to right. If you want to do that, that's fine too. So these go not on the side of the head, but on the top of the head. Okay. Okay, have those on. Now I'm just going to blend them into the side a tiny bit. Oops. Okay. Now from here, there's a couple final steps we need to do that are important. Okay, you always want to look around your clay project when you're done, see if there's any little nicks. If there are, dip your finger in water and smooth it. It makes it look really nice, and it's super fun and super satisfying to see the clay get all smooth and nice, okay? Then you can do some of your final little details, okay? So you can take any tool on the table. You can use pencils, you can use any of these little wooden tools, whatever you're comfortable with. First thing we want to draw is on the muzzle. You can draw kind of a side oval shape, okay, for the nose. A little line on the bottom of the muzzle, like a little smile, okay? And then you can take a tool that's a little bit larger, like this blunt tool, okay? So it's not as big as this one, okay? It's like a kind of little one, but it's bigger than a pencil. Put it in and kind of give it a little twist. Okay, now, then you can also do the little detail on the ear, so it's kind of like a little rainbow shape or an upside down U. All right, now my last and final step that's really important. I'm just gonna push these ears apart a little bit. We wanna put our initials, so your name. So put your first and last initial. and then your class code. So 5-1 or 2 or 3, whatever you are. If you're not sure, ask me. The last thing we need to do so that this doesn't get, so it can dry faster, is we're going to take a pencil on the end and just kind of slide it all the way up. You don't want to go through the top of the head, but kind of go through the bottom, give it a little wiggle, and then slide it out, okay? That way air can kind of flow freely through there, okay? Once you're done, you can put it on the cart to dry, and after it's dry, I will fire it, and then we can glaze it, and they will be awesome.